So greetings and salutations, guys, gals, people, and pals. It's the gentleman Sir Turtle, and we're back at it again with our Friday's podcast. We're here with a wide range of crew, from Don to Pika to Tix joining us, Meditas. We got a whole bunch of crew here, and we're here to talk about everyone's favorite game, Street Fighter Duels, and what's happening with this community. I do want to break down a quick. Thank you. I just want to give a quick heads up. I guess a PSA. What's the proper term or whatever? But if those who are not aware, our previous community manager, Dino, has stepped away. He has found a new home in a different company. Pretty much doing something similar or whatever, but he's doing his job over there, and we wish him all the best and thank you for everything that he's done. And along with his departure comes massive change within the community, within Crunchyroll. Now I wouldn't say the proper word as replacement, because he is not the full replacement for Dino in terms of level, in terms of job requirements. Skeleton will be stepping in for the community manager role for the foreseeable future until they officially get a proper Dino community manager replacement. As for just a clarification, Dino for community manager was a lead, so he basically was in charge of many teams. Not only for Street Fighter Duels, he was in charge for many teams for just overall on the publisher side of Crunchyroll. He was very high up. He had a lot of information. He was very communicative because he had the power to do so. Skeleton, on the other hand, has other responsibilities alongside being the community manager for Street Fighter Duels. He's also in charge of, if I'm not mistaken, all social media content and accounts. So, the Twitter posts, Instagram stuff, the things that you're seeing out there on social media, Skeleton is taking care of that. So, what does that mean as an overall for the community? Basically, it just means that, sadly, communication and connectivity to staff will be lessened, as Dino put a very large effort in building the community for Street Fighter Duels, and he was, with the work that he's able to do, he brought us up to 20,000 plus, and consistently having a healthy conversation within the community. We don't have dead chat unless it's weekend, and weekends everybody's family doing stuff or whatever. But for the most part, we have a very live, respectable when to one another in this community. So he's fostered that very well. But the information that Skeleton is privy to is not quite the same on the level as Dino. So there are things that it's just going to be different. Does that mean end the service, the game's dead, the community's dying? No, absolutely not. As spoken many a times, even before Dino's departure, the game has a lifespan of expectancy of minimum of 2 years, and possible more is the hopeful. They're reaching for the long shots of 8 to 10 years, like many other games have achieved. So, that's just the one thing that will be impacted in the community. Is just like that go-to guy with the secrets. He ain't gonna be around as much anymore. Does that mean Skeleton won't share? No, that does not mean he won't share. I did get a chance to ask Skeleton some questions, just general questions that the community might have, and one of the questions was, will you be doing continuous feedback every week on Fridays, similar to the way Dino has been? And his response is yes, that is not expected to change. He will continue to be gathering the feedback. He will continue to compile it, organize it the way it was organized, and send it to the parties that it needs to be sent. So keep putting your feedbacks in the server and the feedback thing. That is important for all those who feel like that feedbacks don't work. I'm sorry, but it's proven many a times that they do. They listen, they just pick and choose what they want to work on. So if you want what you want to be fixed, put it in the feedback. Hopefully other people will upload it, and the devs will listen to it. So that's not changing. I also asked him, will we be getting not leaks, but like hints, tidbits, and stuff like that? Because Dino never really outright just said, yeah, this is coming out next week. But he always liked to, throw out little words and little hints and things like that. And I asked Skeleton, will you be doing something similar? He said he will be, although it won't be directly through him. So, maybe mods will be, or creators, or whatever the avenue that staff chooses will be spattered throughout. And hopefully that will stay the same. I would like a little bit more leaks, but beggars can't be choosers. And then the other one, which was the big one that I clarified already, is will he be as communicative as Dino was? And he was very upfront. He said that as much as he would love to do so, sadly his responsibilities do not allow him to do that. Because again, he's doing community manager plus his original role, so he's doing 2 jobs at the moment. So bear with him. Please be patient. And if you have any questions, us mods are here to help. You have mod mail. We're here to be as communicative as possible. I won't stop communicating with the community. We got Don, who's been promoted, Tix, who's been promoted. We're always keeping an eye out for community members that are helpful. So the community that you love now should not change drastically. Dino's still here. He's still hanging out. Matter of fact, he's still in the call. It's just now he is Dino the gamer, the player of Street Fighter Duels. He's not Dino the community manager of Crunchyroll. So now he's but he was doing it before. He was playing the game and shelling out money out of his pocket. So he's now officially one of us. One of us. One of us.
Where's your Oni?
Yeah, where's your Oni at, Dino?
Don't have it yet, unfortunately. But we'll get there. I hope. Maybe.
As long as you don't drop the game, that's all that matters.
No, I'm not gonna drop the game. I'll still play it.
That's good.
I'll still play it. Yeah, now I'm a regular player, which is great. Yeah, I mean, Sir Turtle, you kind of nailed everything. I think you almost nailed like 100% everything, as if like you rehearsed this. But no, yeah, he's right. Skeleton is mainly like our social guy. Well, I can't say our anymore. I don't work for the company anymore. But Skeleton, he works on Street Fighter Duel socials. He does the Crunchyroll Games brand Twitter. So if any of you guys have seen the Twitters, the Instagrams, any of that for like Crunchyroll Games, he does that too. So he's not just on Street Fighter Duel. Just like Turtle mentioned, I wasn't either. We're on all titles. That's how we work as publishers. But I think one of the biggest things to know with that is obviously the developers are different for each game too. So that means we talk to different folks for a variety of different games. And as we've mentioned, the developers are the ones that kind of do what they do, and they're the ones that have say for what they do. And that's just kind of how licensing titles works. So that happens on every single title. And we kind of do like community management, social media, marketing, all that together for a variety of titles. My role, something I took was like a head of community role. So what's different with this role is it's more me managing other CMs who are in charge of their titles. So there's a lot of CMs that I personally manage that's working on like a variety of different titles. So it's a little bit of a different dynamic. I did have a CM team. Well, Skeleton was one of them, and then there's another CM on the back burner who's not in the Discords, but they're also helping with social as well. I recently managed them. Then there was like customer service and various other teams, but I was more of like project managing them in a sense. So my role was more of like organizational, like let's make sure we have all of this kind of like together with the power of which we can, which is always really limited anyway. But yeah, my role has completely changed. So now I'm in charge of CMs who are in charge of their own titles and their own decisions. And I'm just kind of there like supporting them. And if they need to revise anything, it's just like, okay, let's kind of word this better, right? So my role is like completely different, more of a behind the scenes role, which is what Crunchyroll was trying to do before anyway. But we didn't really have a CM at the time, and we were already transitioning our teams. So I kind of took that role, and I said, you know what? I'll just be the public face. I got a lot of info I can probably say to the community that might help them out on, how they do things and do games, but that's how it is. So I tried being as transparent as I could on things that I could. But then there's also stuff that obviously can't really talk about, but I tried my best, and I feel like I hope the community appreciated it, at least. But yeah, so no longer in the role, so Skeleton will be your go-to, and Frankie from A Plus Japan. A Plus Japan, Frankie is probably the person you want to go to the most. But other than that, like Skeleton is also somebody you'll probably want to go through as well.
Yeah, which thank you for the information that you were able to share for us while you was here. I think that's going to be the biggest impact that the community is going to feel. Is it's just like they already felt that communication was lackluster, and they didn't. I don't think the community realizes that how much communication you try to maintain, because the devs aren't giving us anything. Like everything that we have is from Crunchyroll, aka Dino, for the most part. So yeah. So when people are like, "Oh, can we have devs here in the call?" If there was a 1% chance before, there's now like a negative 50% chance for that happening. Yeah, and like one topic that I did want to speak on, which I find interesting, is an overall of what is considered leak versus like hints versus like actual confirmed information. For the most part, myself, mods, and staff don't use the word confirmed very often, because unless it's actually been posted somewhere in either social media or in game itself, it's not confirmed. And I will even go as far as saying if it's in game itself and you can't use it, it's still not confirmed. Which is kind of like weird, but like there's been many a times where there's a unit that's like its picture is there and everybody knew, oh, it was coming. What was it? Summer Ibuki. We've been knowing about Summer Ibuki, I think, since first week of the game, because the frame or the image or whatever of the unit is there. So was that confirmed? No, not by staff. So it took a hot couple of months for Summer Ibuki to come out. Then there's also the topics of like what is official versus data mined and what's getting leaked by content creators. One thing that I will say outright, content creators on all levels, whether they're from TikTok to YouTube to Twitch, they do not have any confirmed information. They do not work for Crunchyroll, A Plus Japan, Capcom, or Topjoy. And for the most part, Crunchyroll Japan, Capcom, and I said Crunchyroll Japan. Wow, A Plus Japan and Crunchyroll and Capcom, for the most part, do not have the maximum output of information as, say, the devs, because the devs are the ones that controls the dynamic of what's happening with their own game. It is their game. Crunchyroll and A Plus Japan are publishers, so they're licensing the game and using the rights to the game. So if it's not from these people, it's not official information. That's just it. So if it's like, oh, I heard, or I seen, or my homie, or I saw it from Hayes, I saw it from Pika. Like, I love Hayes, I love Pika. I'm sure your homie is probably your best friend from grade school, and he's never lied. I'm not calling y'all liars or saying anything of the case. All I'm saying is it's not official. So if you could put that out towards the community and let people know, because there is a lot of misinformation, a lot of fingers being pointed, and we're trying to prevent attacks. You know, we want this to be a healthy community. We don't want, oh, but this person said this, oh, but this person said that. We've already had those dramas of pities and things like that. Yeah, that word alone, if I say pity, everybody knows that there's drama already. So misinformation does not need to continue to be spread. That's all I'm going to say on the matter, because that's all that needs to be said. So again, if it's not from like Mookie, Frankie, Skeleton, or like, I wouldn't even say like mods, because I don't have the secret books to say what's coming out. So I would even tell you that I myself, like, if I say something, it might not be true. It might not be 100%, because I am not a confirmed staff member. I could say I heard, that Yakuza Ken is coming out. Who did I hear that from? I don't know, YouTube. But is it real just because I'm a mod? No, not at all. So that's the best way I can explain. Moving on from that, I would like to actually talk about the game itself and what everyone's favorite topic is: bossing. We have a hot new unit, Chief Viper, who apparently some people are like on the fence of saying she's not good, which I still don't know how you're saying she's not good if you don't have her built. Other people are saying, the usual, there's not enough time to know. If anyone does have any experience with Chief Viper, I would love for you to speak up on the unit. Her kit looks very interesting. It allows for utility of Bison a little bit further in terms of soul. It allows Jury to be accessible a little bit, even though accessible in the terms of free to play versus just long term. Is Chief Viper an instant you gotta build her now versus like Bison? Who else is the div one? I need a div list. We got Bison mandatory. A Chun is, I think, now mandatory. Who else is mandatory? I think that's it. No one else, maybe. I mean, if no one's gonna say anything, I'll say piece of God is mandatory. Nah, I'm just playing. Don't build piece of God, please.
Get fought.
So Don, yeah, I don't know if you're around to speak on F Ken real quick.
Yeah, what's up?
Okay, so because we're talking about bossing, and someone mentioned earlier in the chat, they were speaking on F Ken and what he is used for in the terms of the bossing hierarchy, and can he be a mainline for Team 1 similar to F Chun-Li, or has Ken been relegated to a Team 2, Team 3, Team 4 type of unit?
he's definitely a team. I'd say like team 2, team 3. Team 2, if you don't have, say if you're like maybe your Viper's not built, and maybe say you don't have both F add-on and Dalzim. But if you have like all three of those, then Ken might be more suited for like a team 3. If you don't have F Chun, then maybe he can go up a little bit higher. But he's kind of like he does have a little bit of, like some requirements that you need to provide him with units that can bleed, and those are units that people typically don't build anyways, like Pay and whatnot. So yeah, I'd say more like a team 3 thing, unless you really kind of focus on him.
So if F Chun came back and F Ken came back at the same time, both on sale, instant buy Fire Chun Li.
Yeah, easy. Yeah, if you only choose one, then yeah, F Chun.
Now, this is a topic that I'm a little salty on, but I'm also acknowledging the new king of bossing damage. Fire Adon has, from my understanding, Spartan kicked Dalsum in the chest and said, "This is Fire Nation," and now has taken over as Big Daddy for bossing.
Yeah, yeah. One thing I think we still need to see though, I think for event bossing, because we had this last event, we had 4 single bosses, which he shines pretty well on. I would like to see what happens when we have multiple bosses who move your team around and are able to navigate themselves outside of that firewall, because that's a lot of his damage, is that firewall, and if they're not standing in it, then you're losing damage. Where Dalzim, you don't need them to be standing in anything, he'll just hit everybody.
So here's the question that I do have in terms of Dalsum versus Adon. The same exact team. Are you able to pull out Dalsum and just plop in F Adon, or does F Adon need his own team to beat Dalsum?
They're interchangeable.
They are interchangeable.
Yeah, you just pull one out and drop the other one in. Done.
Okay, so now the pieces on the side, are they as they're still important. So you still need Selena, you still need Fire Chun Li, you still need maybe like Fei Long assist and stuff like that.
Yep. Oh well, Fei Long you can actually use on the field. He's a little bit better on field for that.
So you could
If you have him FS20.
in terms of with Dalsum or with F Adon.
With F8 on, because the C1 is more readily available. Instead of like you're not cooking with Dalsum C1, you're able to go right into your rotation right away. So Fei Long can actually stack flame vulnerability at the 5 stacks, no problem with Fei Long. Where Dalsum, you might not get to the full 5 stacks because you use turns to cook Dalsum with his.
Yeah, he's just sitting there chilling.
Yeah, exactly. So it just gives Fei Long an opportunity to be on field and deal more with that.
So are you still in the firm belief that Dalsum and Adon can coexist, or is it just Adon just replaces Dalsum and then you just build your rest of the teams like how you normally would?
I still think they can both exist. Because, like, even if you're not going to use him on your main team, he's great on a second team, and he's still going to do crazy damage. Like, if you pair him with Flanka, a Flanka team, like, you know, Pika's shown in his videos, right? You can use a Flanka team and still hit 700 million with that team without a Flame Shot. It's just the opposite of Flanka and whoever dealing all the damage.
Pika, you around?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm sorry. I'm just editing a video while I'm listening.
Welcome, welcome. Are you able to talk a little bit on the Flanka Adon team and how you're using Adon?
Yeah. Well, actually,
Flanka,
whatever Don said is completely true. Everything he said about it, and F Chun is the one that enabled both of them. But Fire Adon, without without F-Tron, he can do wonders because his wall deals a lot of damage. Of course, as he said, if they don't move out of it. But with Dalsim, yeah, he out-damaged Dalsim because the wall stays a lot longer, and you don't need to waste time waiting for the stacks to go up. If it's unlimited fight, of course, there's nobody better than Dalsim. But we have time, and within that time, 90 seconds, I guess, if I'm not wrong, you need to deal as much damage as you can, and you can stack the wall with fire add-on, and you can do it back to back, so it will never, they will never stop ticking from damage. Dalsim, the damage outcome that he does is stacking his attack up, so the burn debuff on the enemy is a proportionate of his attack. So if his attack is so high, the burn will deal so much damage. And you need to stack him up with his C1, which is the Yoga Tower, or with a normal rotation while he stands on his, like, without using the C1. And yeah, of course, Fashion Blanca enables him. Flame Chun-Li enables him, but
okay,
Fire,
so I have a question where
Flame
Fire
Adon can work without Flame Chun.
I have a question with Fire Adon's Flame Wall. Is that just like flat damage, or does it scale on some separately how Dalsim Fire scales? Does this Flame Wall, is it like a flat percentage, or like what makes the Flame Wall so strong?
No. Yeah, it is percentage of his damage, and it's a constant burn. It's the same as the debuff on the enemy, the burn debuff, but it's on the ground on everybody, and it's 100% will burn them. It's not like it's a probability that it will happen or not. It will burn them. It's the debuff, but on the ground, it does double the damage of the debuff as ticking damage with his initial attack. And plus, he deals the debuff on top of that also as well. So you will see the burn icon on the enemy, plus the wall is under them, which is the burn, but double the damage of the debuff. This is why he scales so good, without him scaling unlimitedly, just like Dawson.
Yeah, just for those that...
You almost think of it like...
Go ahead, Don. Don, go ahead.
20 stacks, the wall will be like, maybe you could think of it as an extra 10 stacks of burn or something like that, on top of the 20.
Yeah, so for everyone who's not familiar, what we're talking about F Adon's C3, where it says deal flame damage equal 322% of attack to a single enemy, then create a wall of fire that deals flame damage equal to 184% of attack to targets in the area every 1.5 seconds for 4.5 seconds. Then it says the reduces the damage dealt by enemies inside the wall of fire by 15 seconds. And when the wall of fire deals damage to an enemy, there's a 20% chance to place a stack of burn on the target.
Read his FS30 too. That's another key thing. He's 20 and 30.
Okay, and fighting spirit. Oh yeah, just fighting spirit. First thing it says is increase wall of fire damage to 212 of attack. Fighting spirit 30. Whenever the wall of fire deals damage, increase attack, effect accuracy, and damage reduction by 2.5% for 8 seconds. Stacks up to 50%.
Yeah. So that's a lot of his keys right there.
So you have to have fighting spirit 30.
I would say fighting spirit 30 is definitely mandatory, and then cars are definitely like the next big thing you should go for on him. His cars, I forget what it was.
Stacks.
It's something with the mark that he does.
Yeah, it gives you 15 stacks off the rip upon entering battle.
Yeah, and then I think that's to pair with his passive, which I don't have in front of me either. But it's like a complete package thing.
Yeah, his passive gains fire level mark for every 30 melee strikes. When using combo 3, each fire level mark unleashes a wall of fire. Up to 2 fire level marks can be gained at once, and no more than 1 fire level mark can be gained every 5 seconds. So he's dropping like 2 to 3 firewalls
all day
off of a C3, off of one C3.
Yeah, it can get crazy, and that's why his damage goes up so ridiculously.
So question. The teams that he's being used with, you said that he's basically interchangeable with Dalsim. Would he not be more beneficial with an accelerated team of, like, let's say, OG Chung Li alongside
Wait, you
Fire Chung
can't
Li?
use him with Dalsim. You can't use him with Dalsim.
No. I don't mean
Dalsim
like.
becomes useless.
No. What I'm saying is they're used separately. Don said that
Yeah, separate.
Fire Adon and Dalsim are interchangeable. My question is although they're interchangeable with the teams of like Bison, F Chun Li, S Selena, whatever, and stuff like that. That's the standard bossing.
Yeah. 100%. You can use them together. Both of them, you can put them on the same lineup instead of each other as a main carry. But if you didn't build Fire Adon, you can use him on a tag position and use his C2 to buff the C3 of Dawson. That's all.
Now,
But it's
what
also
if
a
you
waste
wanted
of
to
Fire Adon if he's built.
What if you wanted to accelerate Adon? Would he benefit more off of an OG Chun or a Yang? Because like the batteries
No.
keeping you going, you're constantly dropping
Really?
the C3.
Okay.
So if you're gonna split, if you have both, and you're gonna split them up.
talk.
What?
If you have both, and you're gonna split them
Talking
up,
about different
Dalsum actually is the better performer without all of the extra Flame Chun buffs than Fire Adon is, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I understand that, but what I'm saying is in terms of animation, speed, and just outright kit, Fire Adon is innately faster than Dalsim. Just flat out, because Dalsim's kit design, you want to cook, you want to stretch, you want to do all those things. Now, if you're
the best partner for Fire Adon.
What happened?
Listen, nobody is using them yet. There's the best partners for Flame Adon. Nobody.
Who?
I've seen literally nobody using them.
Who's
and
the
it's
best
the best
partners for
team for him? Cammy and Vega.
Cammy and Vega?
You don't need combo meter.
OG.
You don't need combo meter.
I was saying
No.
Why not?
You don't need combo meter at all. Because if you have them 6 out of 6, you start with them and you only need the C3 of Fire Adon. You start with them, use a C1, C2, and his C3, and that's it. You will not need combo meter at all because you're gonna use 2 free combo meters and you will stack up combo meters. It means you have unlimited combo meter essentially,
So
and you're gonna deal the same damage and you're gonna accelerate.
Okay, so you're using Cammy Vega Super?
Yeah,
The Super?
we did it actually.
Yeah, I'm gonna read it right now.
This is the highest bossing guild, damage that we did.
Okay.
Flame Chun, Fei Long, Cammy and Vega, and Fire Adon.
All right.
We used Virgil EX, of course, and we used.
We're not talking about no Virtual EX. Don't sully this.
I know.
Sir.
But you want me to give you the data?
No. I mean, you're right. I'm just being biased. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I'm a virtual hater.
We almost hit the 8 billion in the guild.
So just to cover what Cammy Vega does, Rose B Dance switch characters. While switching characters, gain super armor and control immunity. After switching characters, double the passive skill damage for 8 seconds. Increase damage reductions by 50% while switching characters. And then after switching characters, double the passive
Read the 6 out of
damage
6.
for 12 seconds. Okay, and then 6 of 6.
Read the 6 out of 6. This is the most important. Yeah.
After switching characters, the next super combo unleashed will not consume the super combo gauge. This can only be triggered once per battle. This effect can be triggered once per battle by Vega and Cammy respectively. Oh,
Yeah.
so you just like free super.
Oh, you start your battle.
Fire Adon, free super.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He scales completely differently. You start with Cammy and Vega, you consume a combo meter. This is the first time. The second time it's free, the third time is free, and then you have 2 combo meters that are accumulated by passively because you're regenerating. That's it.
And because they're fire, they build up Fei Long's Dodo.
They capitalize on Fire Adon's burns because they hit targets with getting burn debuff more, and they enable Fire Adon to deal more damage because they are dealing the fire damage as well.
So what is the 4
that's
team lineup?
literally the best combo.
What is the 4 team lineup then looking like?
for them.
Yeah, for that specific
this
lineup.
is versatile. The core specific lineup for this is Fire Adon and Kami and Vega, and you can literally use anybody. You can use the most worst units in the game with them, and they will deal and they will carry. You need just a C1 and a C2. So if you want to play protection, you can use Athlete Chun-Li for the C1 and Zangief for the C2 and his passive, and literally they can't die versus Soul, Thunder, or Fire. You will protect them with that. You can use EX for healings, for mitigation. You can also use SS position, somebody to help them or to keep them alive, like Abel or anybody else. You don't need combo meter at all. So the problem of combo meter is solved. The problem of survivability is solved. Now all we need is buffing and damage. How we can do that? We can add it through the SS positions or EX moves that will buff things up. Like the new trendy Guile EX move, one of the best, probably the best buffing damage in the game right now as an EX. It will buff you insanely, especially if you get it to 3 stars.
The EX, doesn't that just give you saber stacks?
It gives you speed, and then with the amount of speed you get bonus damage.
Oh, so it's basically throwing Gaia on your team.
It's the second buffing EX move after Akuma one. The Akuma one is broken, straight up broken, because it lasts until the end of the battle. You can use it this with Fire Adon too. Probably Kami and Vega will take it, or he will take it. It depends who is the highest attack on the lineup.
So if we're talking
Fire Adon usually takes it after like a couple stacks of Firewall. He'll take it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
If we're looking at maximum potential damage for a team, what would the fort, like if you're trying to break 3, 4, 5, 6 billion, whatever?
Yeah. Still, the best team is still the same team as in bossing, and if not in Crusade. Crusade is different because the multipliers for the bosses is stable. It's the same. You can work around it. But for bossing and battle lust and stuff like that, when you get it, it's still the same team. Dalsim, Summer Elena, Gokin, and I don't know which one are we using. Fei Long.
I'm seeing Fei Long. I'm seeing Selena.
I forgot. Fashion Blanca. Yeah. I think Fashion Blanca works better because he gives he uses all the synergy. So you have Dalsim as flame, Fei Long as flame, any assist as flame. That's 3 flame. You have 2 legendaries, which is Fashion Blanc and Flame Chun. And you have Gokin, and he's the 6th one. He's the master, so he will complete your synergy. So you have the 25% bonus attack, 25% bonus HP. This is what you can use. And you Summer Elena is I think, in my opinion, is the best one for them. Actually, you can drop somebody and play Summer Elena. She will buff them even better. So the best lineup right now is Summer Elena, Flame Chun, and Dalsim, right?
I thought I'm pretty sure it's Summer Elena, Flame Chun, and Fire Adon. Like that's what I'm seeing in between.
The top teams,
in Crusade, not events.
Oh, in Crusade, it depends on the boss, but Fire Adon is actually taking the leaderboards on most days. Where most days where Dalsim was there, Fire Adon's taking the lead. The one where Dalsim is still holding his crown is on Ixel, the one with the flash.
Interesting.
Ixel is still there. Other than that, there's comps where you're not even using them really, like Evil Ryu and Viper Takeover. I think it's on the boss that steals your meter. I think there's a comp with Ryu that does the most damage there, so you're not really using the Fire Adon comp. There's a comp that I was using for a bit there that was keeping me in the top 10.
I think Kami and Vega can help there.
Yeah, Kami and Vega is obviously good, but she's also they're also expensive, and it's like, are you going to go for Kami and Vega, or are you going to go for a Gokin? That's the problem there, right?
Exactly.
So that's actually,
for free to play and casual.
That's actually a good question because you were mentioning Don, you were mentioning Evil Ryu, and in terms of this is always the topic of conversation for special summon. Who should be pulled and stuff like that. And this is important for bossings as well because you're mentioning Goken. You're also mentioning Evil Ryu. Where does Evil Ryu now sit? Because I remember before when he launched, everyone was gonna be like, "This is the guy that's gonna be the GM Ken 2.0," and now I'm barely hearing about him. I'm hearing more of Akuma than Evil Ryu, to be honest.
Well, if you're PvP focused, you want Evil Ryu. At this point, anybody who's PvP focused already has Evil Ryu in the bag, so now they're moving on, which is why you're starting to hear more about other special summons, because those Evil Ryu havers are looking for the next unit.
So, in terms of bossing, Evil Ryu is not it.
You only need him at
he's
A rank.
still there.
So, like,
He's still there.
he's still good, but like he works at A rank,
Okay,
so he's not like, in terms
you're
of
talking
strictly
priority
bossing.
list?
Okay, so if we're talking strictly
Well,
bossing,
that's what I'm saying. Like, it depends what you're doing.
okay.
That's why I'm trying to differentiate between PvP and bossing, because that priority list would change depending what your priority in terms of content is.
So if your content is primarily bossing, Evil Ryu is not it.
You need
Like,
one
you
copy.
only need like one copy.
He is needed, but one
Just
copy.
One copy. Okay.
Yeah, so you're gonna need to max it out.
So
Overall,
but
if
in
somebody
terms
starts
of
the game
bossing,
right now and they're like low spenders, if they're low spenders or free to play, and they ask me like, what's the priority list for limited characters? I would say first of all, get Summer Elena to double S because this is the cheapest investment, and get one copy of Eva Ryu. Then go all in for Goken. Make him to the Soul Power. If you don't want to the Soul Power, you need him to triple S. That's the main priority that you want to focus on. That's the best thing that you can do to your account, actually.
and where does why is Goken there? Where does he fit in terms of bossing and like maybe even overall for the game?
Ability and
Goken is the best
survivability,
Fryday universal unit.
So survivability. Is it true? Did
He's
we
the
get a
best tank in the
confirmation
game.
that he saves the whole team? Did we ever get a confirmation on that? He saves the whole team?
Except tag position, I think. Don, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think he can save the. So reading his kit, I think he can save the ones that are on the field. So if your tag is out for whatever reason and everybody gets hit, your tag is dying.
Yeah.
Unless it's Summer Elena because she's immune and you have her fighting spirit, and she's immune and she lives anyways.
Wasn't Goken only allowed to supposed to save one? I thought it was set to one.
So yeah,
In
so looking at his
China.
kit, he saves himself. His passive, he saves one, but in his 6 of 6, he saves another.
Oh, okay.
So he saved
Yeah,
himself.
so without his
He
6 of
saves
6,
one,
he's only
then he
saving 2.
saves another.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's 3.
So Goken just basically it's basically what I've been saying. He just allows a team to exist to do what they need to do.
Not for one rotation though. He saves you for the second rotation because when he saves your life, he gives you a massive shield that can also save you from the next attack. This is how good he is.
Next attack, yeah.
So now here's the question: are you using Goken on Team A, or are you building Goken to allow your Team 2, Team 3, Team 4 to push for that extra damage? Where are you using Goken for maximum efficiency?
He'd be your team 2.
The team that least
if you're like, if you have everything, yeah, he'd be your team 2. Because your team 1 would be the Flame Chun, Adon, Eslena, typical team. And then your T2 is the one that's going to do the next biggest damage. So you want him on that team.
So I'll use my team for example. My team 2 is Oni. So you would suggest me to put Goken on the Oni team? Well, because I already have my Team 1 Dalsum team.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you keep your Oni alive, right? You don't need the C. Then you can use Goken C2.
Yeah, there's 2 options for you. If you built what's her name? Witch Jury. You can use her on whatever hard carry you have, and it will save that carry with lifesteal. You just need to time while you're taking damage to deal damage with that carry, and this carry will lifesteal, so you can save them. Especially if it's a single target boss that deals single target damage. As he hits your Oni and Oni is hitting him, you'll probably heal and never die. This is how I'm using it actually on my lineup, the Witch Jury, or I use Witch Jury herself. But it's if you have a better carry, you can use her as an assist for that. So it's another cheat code for survivability. This is how good her assist is.
And does anyone?
And then you can use Goken on another lineup.
And what about like all the other units that are left on the side, like Esabuki, Trendy Kami? Like, where do they sit in terms of just usability? Because I like, especially where we have different levels, such as free to play and small guppies and dolphins versus whales and stuff like that, where some people are being more skeptical on picking units. Like how was mentioned before, if you're going to pick a special summon unit, are you really going to build Kami Vega over a Goken and stuff like that? So in that situation,
okay,
where do they fit? Like A-Chung.
I will tell you
like,
the 5 or 6
Athlete
team.
Chung a really important unit, but I very rarely hear her be suggested as a unit to be built. So where does the criteria?
In every video, I
look?
have Athlete Chun-Li. In every video, I have Athlete Chun-Li. In every single video I make.
Do you have
for
her
bossing.
over Selena?
Yes, because I don't have Selena. You need Selena at the double S for her to make an impact, or she will die when she comes from the attack position if she's not if her exclusive or FS is not built. Anyway, I will tell you the lineups and the carries that you need to do. So Fire Adon on a team, Dalsim on a team, Akuma on a team, and you have these. You have the Bleed with Fashion Ken and Vega together. You have the Trendy Kami with Trendy Dalsim. These are another team which is wrecks everything. Oni, who built Oni, they can use Oni, of course. He does insane damage. Who else? Summer Ibuki, you need to use her with a lineup that has a main carry, so she can be the trigger. Because on all of these lineups that I said previously, you're gonna have either Gormagalaken or either Ryu or Bison that will passively buff you, or Fashion Blanca, which will also buff you if you use only one of his skills. You don't need to use every skill because he will give you Wildfire. So you need another buffer. If Summer Ibuki buffs, actually, not just reduce speed and buff your speed, if she does buff damage to everybody else, not only herself, she's a selfish unit. This is why you built her as a carry without clicking her, actually. You might use her super only. But for the other units in the game, they buff, they deal incredible things. This is why she's lower as a trigger faction. The other rest, you can use Chun-Li maybe if you want. You can use Kami, you can use Guile if it's AoE damage. It depends where you use them. But most likely it's the SST characters and the divination characters that deals the highest impact. Many players are running Vega. The last one that won, actually, one of his teams was having Vega and Fashion Ken, and it was his second best damage dealing team, actually. So some people are not showcasing this. Me, I'm guilty of not showcasing these other units because I don't actually have them when I'm doing like guides for free to play. If I want to go into other accounts for my friends that spent and have these units, I will probably showcase them. I will do that, actually. I should do that because people are sleeping on Vega. They don't know how important he is or how he can impact you. He deals a lot of damage, especially if you have Fashion Ken. And whoever spent to get Vega, they spent to get Fashion Gun as well.
Listen, stop throwing me under the bus. I don't know what you talk about.
They go together.
Yeah.
I mean, in that instance where when we talk, this is the topic that I like to bring up a lot, is the judgments of characters and the criteria of where people hold units, because we've already been there. All the rotations of units where it's like it was Guile at first. Screw it. It was Mad Ryu at first, then Guile, and then Dawson, and now Fire Adon, and then the next unit, and so on and so forth. Everyone's always chasing that best in slot. My issue is
I forgot to say something. Wait, but
What
just
happened?
for the sake of the video, Viper is also one of the main carries.
Yeah, that's what I'm
She's
saying. Look,
probably
you
the
look,
second
that
or
that proves
third.
my point
Yeah.
even more. That proves exactly what I'm saying even more. Is like people chase best in slot so much where it feels like they get so blinded by everything else that if it doesn't even meet the like this absurd criteria that they're holding Dawson to or Fire Adon to, like people are not understanding that like F Chung Li is busted. Like her kit, her design,
Yeah.
her concept is busted. And this is where power creep and that whole topic comes into play. And but then here's my thing is it's like, is power creep that prevalent or that big when no one is giving these other units a chance? So that's where I was like, is there legitimately power creep when not every unit has been tested to its full potential? Now, obviously, we're not at a point
I will
that's
answer
easy.
you simply. When we had a boss that reduces flame damage taken, okay, and we used Flame Chun on them because she has so much stacks of flame penetration, it still was the highest damage output team with her.
Yeah.
With the reduction of the flame damage, this is how busted she is in the flame faction.
Yeah, she's
Now, if you wanna,
like legitimately not able to be
yeah,
power crept.
if you wanna use her on a Thunder team that deals shock with her flame damage, of course she's gonna not deal anything. If somebody doesn't know the concept of the game, like when she was released, they were using her with Viper. Viper does one instance of flame damage, and they were like, it's not worth it. They didn't know how to play her. Until Bookish and the others who purchased her, I didn't purchase her, I didn't test her back then. They told us how good she is. I went and tested her on another account, and wow, she's just crazy. And I told them, use her on the guild boss and with Dalsim, and she will deal insane. And they cooked that synergy, and it became the meta right now. So the meta is whatever the next flame character that comes in, and on its own deals damage more than Fire Adon on his own without Flame Chun, it will be the next meta with Flame Chun. 100%. She's an enabler. This is how good she is. You can't break the meta just simply with getting something else. The only two units that are competing with the highest score right now with Flame Chun and Fire Adon is Trendy Kami and Trendy Dalsim with their shock. If you can keep the shock unlimitedly, like 100% all the time on the boss, that's it. Which is also kind of impossible because it doesn't refresh the stacks of shock and it wears off really quick.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, across all the events that I've done since I've picked up my Akuma, he has consistently outdamaged every Trendy Kami team. Trendy Kami team that I've seen on the leaderboards, but mainly it's probably because Shock keeps dropping off and they're unable to keep it up. Like, Akuma just is more consistent in that regard, but at the same time, he's a special summons unit. Then, again, we're dipping into Gulkin territory and stuff like that, so then Trendy Kami is a better looking option.
Yeah, and speaking about Akuma, Jury, DiCapri, other units that whiffs their attack, the whole modifier is changed. Now they no longer miss anymore. Plus, the boss in Boss Rush, Akuma, when we used to cheese it with Summer Yang or Fashion Blanca with his C2 and Summer Yang C1 to go behind him and he whiffs his attack, he doesn't miss his attack anymore. He will hit. It will land.
Oh no, they fixed. Oh, maybe that's what it is. They fixed the cheese.
So does that mean DiCapri bumps up on efficiency and usability? Because like that was a big,
Yeah,
big,
music her.
so,
like
She's killing.
so. Okay, now here's my question. I guess the question that I need to ask is: did they fix her enough that she jumped up?
Not her.
Not her.
They fixed everybody.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Not to miss any attack anymore.
They does that?
Akuma doesn't whiff also.
Okay, but Akuma not whiffing, that's a godsend. That literally means he's just compiling damage, like constantly.
But they did this for Fashion Ken, not for anybody else. They did this fixing for the entire game only for Fashion Ken because people bought him and he's now trash because he whiffs every
he wasn't
single attack.
whiffing.
He was whiffing.
He wasn't whiffing.
Oh my god.
Like,
His
trust me.
C3, it was...
I used
You're breaking up a little bit.
I used Fashion Ken every single. It was not whiffing, bro. I've been. Oh, I was saying Fashion Ken definitely was not whiffing. I've been using Fashion Ken primarily as my Path of Fire bosser. I was using him in events forever. I never gave up on him. You just had to slow down on his rotation. That was it. Because what happens is when he would jump too early, he would start kicking from too far back, but if you just wait for him to stop, he'll go back up in front again and then keep kicking. It was just like a timing thing that I don't think anybody noticed. But he never whiffed on that C3. Like, I never had a problem.
But now, even
through the entire time I
even
used
with
it.
the timing now, he will not whiff it, even if you mistime it now. They did the locking on the bossing or the other units.
He'll still miss the first couple kicks if he's too far back.
Yeah.
So they did a stealth patch basically of overall animations, timing or whatever.
Maybe it's animations.
My theory is, remember when we had Wonky Flame Chun come in and start being able to jump up in the air, hit anybody from anywhere?
Yeah, start nuking everybody left and right.
And Bison, yeah, and then we had Bison in the last one who was able to chokeslam people no matter where they were. I think whatever they did to modify animations for those two bosses inadvertently fixed DiCaprio and Akuma. So they didn't really fix them. They tried to create two cheesy ass bosses that just ended up fixing units.
That's funny.
Yeah, maybe it could happen.
That's just my thought of it. That's just my thought of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe.
Like, that might not be the actual case. It's just what I thought.
So what does that do for DiCaprio's executions and stuff like that? In terms, I guess maybe not bossing
She's
so much,
executing
but
beautifully for me.
in chapters.
Bro, I'm using her in the tower. She's doing great. It's the first time I'm satisfied with her. Anybody who gets slow, she just goes and just whip their ass. It's really nice. It feels right.
Oh, so that you hear that, guys? That could be fire tech for your towers now. Pushing.
She's maxed for me. She's plus 26 out of 6. I mean, not max. I need to get her to plus 30, but plus 26 out of 6. She's doing wonders.
Welcome, Tix. How you be, homie?
Yeah, man. Pretty good. Just had some dinner.
Just to give you a quick catch up. I broke down the dynamics of the community post Dino, and give everybody a heads up to like what levels skeleton will be like around and stuff like that. And then we went straight into bossings, Fire Adon, Dawson, and Pika and Don are breaking down F-Can. Apparently units are now not whiffing and everything. So how have your boss testings have been, and what have you been seeing now that you're like officially back into the weeds of things? You've had ample weeks to now be back. What break down some knowledge? You got anything for us?
I'm a little bit sick, so I might sound a little bit crooked, but what I noticed,
you sound angelic. You're alright.
What I sound is not what I sound, but what I found is that like Akuma is not whiffing as much in bossing, as well in other contents in general. But then the most prominent notice was from PvP, like from Final Showdown. I started to see more Akumas being played and actually performing rather than being a useless C2 in the field. Actually, you can also see it in HWA now. So I'm just pretty much glad, and I think Dombuka theorized that it could be due to the how they did with Bison, because Bison's C1 during the boss event when we had Trendy Guile, his C1 was like a lock on feature, and usually Bison's, when we have the 6 out of 6 car, he can C1 the air out of nowhere and not hit anyone. So maybe they changed something within whatever, and made all the other units, maybe not only Akuma, but all the other units start to like whiff less.
So what does that do? What does not whiffing mean in terms of the game mechanics and Akuma? If you could break it down a little bit more, or explain it to me as if I'm a 5-year-old. How does that help Akuma and DiCaprio and all of those that were whiffing before?
So I mean, Akuma has a pretty crazy multiplier. You can just read his C2, right? But he has multiple hits that he needs to land to actually equate that multiplier. Like I think it's like 1,400 or 1,500. And if you're whiffing, you're just basically hitting nothing, or if your character moves and he just goes in C2s, and probably a few hits out of the multiple hits that he needs to equate that multiplier. So he's basically doing no damage, because in paper it looked like he's doing damage, but the damage are not connecting. And if the damage aren't connecting, then it's basically a useless C2 in PvP case. But in like bossing prior to it, he could perform because you can manual it. But in PvP, you can't really manual or time it well. So when characters move and then he just press the C2 when they don't want, or when you don't want him to press the C2, then he's just basically gonna whiff. The one thing I didn't notice is, like, if Summer Yang, usually like people play with Summer Yang and Akuma comes in and whiffs it mid-air. I haven't really tested that interaction yet with him and Summer Yang, because Summer Yang would have been the furthest opponent when he does surf in with his C1. So I'm still gonna see how that works. But then just in general, not whiffing your attacks basically makes it mean that Akuma's now actually like hitting the numbers that he is supposed to technically.
Would that bring him up to the levels of where Dawson and Fire Adon stand, or not yet? He can't reach that level yet.
Probably not, because Dhalsim stacks and Fire Adon stacks are more consistent. Well, Akuma's is consistent, but then you cannot benefit on his C2 non-upgraded C2. I mean his upgraded C2, because it turns from flame damage into soul damage, and Flame Chun-Li boosts up flame damage. So they only boost it up on the non-upgraded version of his C2. But I mean, if it was the other way around, like Akuma's upgraded C2 was flame damage instead of soul damage, then maybe that would have been more. You could have seen more plays with him in Flame Chun-Li teams, and maybe you could argue either those big two or Akuma.
Now, here's a question with Akuma being soul damage. Could that be a tool with Chief Viper?
Yeah, I think Chief Viper boosts up thunder and soul damage, right?
Yeah.
Like both of them. So I guess yes. And Chief Viper does a C3, right? So you gotta weigh in if having more combo rotations from Chun-Li, because Chun-Li is a pretty good pair with Akuma.
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta weigh in if the extra combo rotation makes up, or does the damage from Chief Viper plus her supports actually equate to more in the end.
Okay, so let's break down the teams. We have Team One, which is interchangeable between Dawson / Fire Adon, but it's mostly Fire Chun-Li, Summer Elena, Adon / Dawson, and Bison, or who's in the front?
Yeah, it depends if you're a spender or a non-spender, but then it goes
Mostly
around.
Goken.
Yeah, if you have a Goken, then he basically splashes around teams that, like, in the end, you're gonna do a lot of damage, and just having you survive that much damage means that you can do more damage in the end.
See, now I'm confused because I thought Goken was a Team 2, Team 3 per suggestion. So
Yeah,
but you're suggesting Team 1 now. Go ahead,
usually
Don?
Team 1 is with F-Chan.
Yes.
So on the Flame Chun team, you can, depending. So like, okay, if you have Virgil EX, you're using Fei Long. If you don't have Virgil EX, you're most likely using maybe a Bison, but Abel is probably more suitable. In that scenario, because you're using a C1, it's open to C1. You want the C2 for Flame Chun, which is why Goken. It sounds good, but he's not ideal because you're taking away flame stacks from Flame Chun.
Yeah.
So Abel would work better in that situation, or Fei Long, or Bison without card. Basically, anybody with a good C1.
So that's what I was under the assumption. So, all right, let's lay down context so that I won't be I won't be assuming things. Context. Team 1, Fire Chun-Li team. Yeah. That is the Team 1.
Yeah.
So Fire Chun-Li team.
Yeah, that is the Team 1.
With Virgil.
The absolute meta. Yeah, is Fei Long, Fire Adon, Flame Chun, Summer Elena.
Okay. And Dawson was that Fire Adon in there, so they're the two that are interchangeable in that. If you have Fire Adon, Fire Chun, Selena, what is Team 2? If Fire Adon is Team 1, what is Team 2?
Well, Team 2 is most likely the Street Poison comp, and there's different variations depending on who you build, right? Like the T Kami and the Thunder comp really wants it because Shock, her Trendy Kami's kit is based on like capped at your attack multiplier, and Street Poison elevates that. But you don't really see what I use Street Poison for is in my Akuma team, but then not everyone has Akuma, so like she can just be there, but then Street Poison is the one you want, and the one with Street Poison is just characters that have short animations that you could withstand or keep the stacks going.
Okay,
so
sorry to cut you off. This brings up the question that I had before in terms of criterias of units and how people are judging. Because you said Team 2 immediately Street Poison, and I remember when Street Poison came out, she straight chest kicked the meta and said, "I'm here with these stats," and everybody was like, "You have to build, you have to build, you have to build." I'm noticing no one's mentioning A-Chun, but in the community as a conversation, A-Chun is held in very high regard, where she's actually suggested multiple times that people should build her. So, Tix, especially you being free to play, why the judgment of Street Poison over A-Chun or over anyone else?
I mean, for bossing, you can't really, like, for a general use, like if you're pushing content, definitely Street Poison is better. Or actually, no, they're the same because you're not going to be stacking when you're doing in story mode.
No. What? No, they're not the same. They're completely different roles. They don't do anything similar to each other. Street Poison does crit damage, pressure, and that's it. Street Poison, Athlete Chun-Li gives you damage reduction, plus she gives you attack bonus, plus she deals insane damage.
Yeah, but like Street Poison's buff are like 5 times of the buffs that H-On
Crit
provides.
damage. You need to crit so you can do the damage.
Well, crit and attack, and also pressure. But pressure is not.
There's attack. It's pressure and crit damage. That's it.
And attack.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, my bad. I didn't see that.
For Street
I
Poison?
didn't see that she gives attack. Yeah, I felt it's crit damage and pressure.
Yeah, crit and attack. Crit and attack.
So yeah,
crit damage, not crit rate.
Yeah, no crit rate, but so in terms of bossing, I would say Street Poison has the edge just because the buffs, if you can maintain the high stacks, are like higher, the damage buffs. But then she does not like what Pika said, does not have any survivability supports. I mean, besides her heals, when she does proc when she's in the field, but then that's not gonna happen. I mean, it does. Like that stuff happens in the scenario or in the story mode. Like if she comes out, if one of your tanks dies or something like that, her love mark, or not love mark, but her love passive buff thing, like the damage reduction that you get from it. So I sometimes get surprised that she can survive some insane hits. But aside from that, like H-On is more of a PvP unit compared to Street Poison. So if you're comparing like in PvP, which one is better? It's definitely H-On. In story mode, you can use both because burn stacks with attack. So anything that boosts up attack will boost up your burn damage. That does ignore defense damage. But for in bossing, I would give it for Street Poison in all 3 content.
Okay, so team 2.
I mean, the first team could be Fire Adon, and the second team can be Dalsim. Dalsim, Fashion Blanca. Right?
Yep.
With Bison.
Yep. Yeah, so
these are the best teams, I think.
Like that's the next that team 2 is like the next easiest to acquire solid team for team 2 after your team 1.
I actually like the I think it was right side. Right side. He showed like the team comp with Bison, Flanka, and Dalsim, but with Rose and all of that. Even what'd you say?
I'm going to hurt you, Hicks.
Because
I'm gonna hurt you. Hold on, Hicks. I love you, but how dare you? How dare you repeat my team that I've been using since Flanka was accessible and say right shade brought it up? I'm gonna hurt you, bro.
I'm talking about the whatchamacallit, Rose on the tag position.
These hands with are rated T for ticks right now. That's all I'm saying.
Bro, this team is so old, Tix. It's not Shade that did it.
Okay.
That's
where I found it. So I'm gonna say it where I found it because I don't know where to link it. Like who was first?
Yeah, because there's something called crediting, which Shade never does.
I thought we were friends.
When he said the teams of Buka and never credited, and now the teams of everybody else and never credited. Credit is a thing. It hurts people.
All right, but all jokes aside, go ahead, continue. Sorry.
All right, okay, whatever it is. But that team, or the team that uses Flanka, Dalsim, and Rose, you basically, all of the combos that they do, or that they provide, are behind Bison. So none of them are going to go in front of him. And that's why it works, because Bison can stay at front.
So, yes and no. They go in front of Bison. They don't drastically go in front of Bison because he's huge, but they absolutely do go in front of Bison. All of them. Flanka, if you do Flanka,
Only his super wouldn't, but
His
his C2
super?
would.
His super pushes him forward. If you look at the animation, when you click Blanca super, it moves him to the front, right side. Well, not front, but I say more side by side to
Yeah, it pushes him
Bison.
to a little bit.
His C2, that rollout, especially once he does the roll at the end and does a bounce up, he's in front of Bison. His C1
Yeah.
is the only thing where he's just like, I'm nuking everybody.
Oh, that's true, right?
Dawson, his super, he absolutely wants to yeet that ball, and he is next to Bison. His C1, his stretching, he's safe. His C3, he definitely goes next to Bison. So, like, for the most part, they are very easily nukeable when they do their ability. So that I'm gonna.
That's true. Like, what I meant by super is the C1.
The
I
C1,
didn't
yeah,
actually-
no, 100%. They're safe behind Bison with the C1, unless you,
No,
unless
no,
There's
you
two
like
things.
use Elena
Turtle,
like I do.
I don't know if you agree with me. There's two things I dislike in this game. One is the C3 of Bison. When he wanna explode, he go backline. And the second one is B Zangief with his animation. He takes so long. He goes in the front and takes the hits in his face. Like, what's wrong with him? B Zangief and Bison are so important, yet they are so annoying to play around.
I can't speak on Beast
So-
Zangief, but I will speak on Bison real quick. My animation that I hate that he does the most is when he flies to the sky and it's just like, all right, my whole entire team is open to you to kill.
Yeah, it's a thing that happens too.
Go ahead, Don. Sorry,
I have a
cut you
little
off.
timing thing with Bison. I have a little timing thing with Bison on that Flanka Dalzin team. So, Bison C3, I only use it one time, right at the beginning when the boss is doing next to no damage.
No
And
damage,
to
exactly.
To keep everybody in front of Dalzin while he's cooking, what I'll do is I'll hit Bison C3, and then I'll immediately hit Flanka
Flanka
just as the
C3.
boss is about to attack, because Flanka will go way up, and then Bison, when he's
Exactly.
done exploding, blah, blah, will travel back up in front of Flanka, and then keep everybody safe again, and then after that, you never touch Bison C3 ever again.
I
Just
just
stop
exactly.
never
what
used
you do
Bison
that.
C3 from the get anyway. The one thing that I noticed was what you explained before, Don, was timing. If you wait like a second or two, then Dawson will jump back and you're able to like you won't have to worry with that. But
Yeah,
to
yeah,
accelerate
video, I
the
explained it
speed is
perfectly.
definitely the way to go about it. You want to activate.
You want to wait for Fashion Blanca to do his first auto attack animation and then press his super immediately, or Dawson will come off of the Yoga Tower with 3 stacks or 2 stacks. You need him to hit the 5 stacks at the start. Right, Don? It's 5.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, you can get 5, maybe sometimes a little bit more if you're lucky.
Yeah.
Okay, so team 1, Fire Adon. Team 2, Dawson.
Dawson.
Team 3,
Viper.
Viper. Really?
Yeah,
Viper's a
with
very,
the-
very strong unit.
Okay. Can I throw out attack with Viper? I
You
would like
need
to suggest
Viper,
what
Viper
team?
Super and C3.
Okay.
If you're free to play, I'm talking.
All
Free
right.
to play.
Damn, you have to throw the free to play tag. I hate when. All right. What team is? What are you building with Viper? Because I have a tech with Viper that I'm gonna be doing, but I'm curious to see
I'm playing Guy. Guy at plus 20.
Guy C2. So good with Viper.
Yeah. You can
Okay.
use Rose C2, but you can use her on a different lineup to keep your team surviving. Because Viper shields will let you survive, actually.
Okay. Let me pull up Viper
So
real quick.
it's Viper, Street Poison, Guy, Viper. That's a rotation. You can slap any tank. Maybe Honda if you want.
Street Poison and that team wouldn't stack. You gotta be. Depends on the boss's animation though. But if you Viper Super and Viper C3, sometimes it won't stack. The stack goes through.
It will stack, but not the 5 stacks. You're right. But this is why I play sometimes Athlete Chun-Li with her, because the stack remains for 15 seconds. So you can have 5 stacks of Vortex all the time. That is why I use my Athlete Chun-Li. But I said Viper, Street Poison, because everybody have access to her. Even with Athlete Chun-Li at A rank, you can still use her C1, and it will be more beneficial, I think, on the team of Viper. You have a point.
Here's the question with Viper. Would she work well with Trendy Dawson in detonating the fire and using the shock? Because he basically works. I thought he works with her because she's literally doing both the shock and fire, and that's what Trendy Dawson works with. And he sneakily puts a lot of burn onto the enemy. And if you use her, I guess C2 is the only thing that detonates. You're exploding.
Yeah, C2.
So would that be a suggestion, or you're saying Viper? So Viper with who again is the main team for C3? For team
Viper, Street Poison, or Athlete Chun-Li. Either Street Poison or Athlete Chun-Li.
Well, if Street Poison is taken for Team 2 already.
Okay, then Athlete Chun-Li.
So Athlete Chun-Li. Okay, may I ask
and
why
Guy.
not regular Elena?
Because she heals. She doesn't buff you that much unless you have plus 30 on her. Plus 30 on her can kill her as well.
So you don't want. So healing is not wouldn't be considered survivability or any.
No, you can play healing. You can play. So the last boss what I played Viper with Elena. I think Gormagalakan or Iryu, one of them, one buffer that is trigger, and what's his name? Zangief, normal Zangief for his C2. His C2 will allow him to heal himself, survive more. He will give the damage mitigation to the team, and it's a C2. It's a solid C2 to use because he builds a lot of defense and he hits hard. He's the tank with highest damage, I think, other than Fashion Blanca. So I start with Viper. Use the C1 of Elena, C2 of Zangief, then the C3 of Viper. And it worked fine for me. Because I had a buffer, which is either Ryu or Gormagalakan, I forgot. But one of them works because 25% more damage.
I got one out here for Viper. That's gotten me usually up and around 500 million or so on that team. Just the way bosses have been lately, Viper team is usually where I throw my OG Zangief, and I go Viper, Elena, OG Zangief, Viper, and that's the team that gets to do more just because it's shutting down the boss's mechanics.
See what I said.
And then the healing, Viper does the shields. Yeah. Oh, I didn't hear you say that. Sorry. I'm bad. I didn't hear you say that same team.
It's the exact same team, bro. You use either Ryu with them?
No, well, it depends. I swap out GM10 or Iryu.
Exactly what I said. That's exactly. And I use sometimes any assist with them, but it depends what assist you can afford.
Yeah, I don't use H1 because I don't have H1, so.
Alright, so Team 1, Fire Adon. Team 2, Dawson. Team 3, Viper. I love how fire is king. Everybody was saying wind is where it's at now.
Yeah.
So Team
Fire.
4.
Fire is the best thing.
What is Team 4? Akuma.
Probably half of the player base, especially the ones that started early, have Akuma. He's the best, the next best thing to free to play as an SSD.
Akuma, really?
Yeah. Don't you have Akuma?
Yeah. Well, but
I have Akuma.
Special.
Six have Akuma.
I'm a
Don
special
have
case.
Akuma. Okay. I mean, I need 4 copies for Akuma, and he'll be max for me. And I have 300 tickets, so I can probably build him.
Okay, so what is the team looking like with Akuma then?
Akuma and Chun-Li are a perfect synergy, in my opinion. I don't know about anybody who uses something else, but the new Viper also works with him, Chief Viper. But Akuma burns your combo meter so fast. I think Chun-Li is the best partner for him.
Yeah, that's true. Usually before OG Chun Li, people were running Akuma with. But this is before Flame Chun. Before Flame Chun was an actual meta, the meta was Akuma with
With
Vega.
Dawson?
Yeah, no, Akuma with Vega
Oh.
because we don't have like those Crusade boss rush or stuff like that. But so then the
Yeah.
bosses were actually having HP bars. So Vega actually was doing crazy amount of damage because his kit it revolves around like enemies missing HP, and Vega enables it with his C3, and there's no other good alternative DPS to what you call utilize his HP missing HP as additional damage aside from Akuma. So that was like a really good pair, but now we don't have event bosses with health bars, so it would be Chun Li.
Okay, so Chun-Li, Akuma.
Yeah, they're a team on their own. You can use any C2,
But we gotta
C1,
build it out.
and
We gotta build it out. Who's left?
Okay,
I mean,
so for me,
in my
I
opinion,
know
for
Tix.
Chun-Li,
Whoa! Too many
It's Yang.
voices. Hold on. Let's
Sorry.
give Don a chance because he hasn't really said much. What's up, Don?
yeah.
I was saying, okay, so like Tix and I, we play Akuma a little bit differently. The way I like to run Akuma, just because it's Chun-Li and obviously we want that meter, I am a huge fan of playing Yang on the field for his C1, for I think it's like 20 or 25% increased crit rate.
They say great minds think the same. They thinks alike, right?
Yeah.
So it's
I told you.
like Akuma, Yang, then C2, whatever C2, whatever tank you want there. I use Nero, whoever you can use to fill in a C2. Even Chun-Li's on C2. The fourth slot is like whatever for me. So like the 3-man is just those three, and then the rotation is like Akuma, Yang, whatever, Akuma, Yang, whatever. Then it's like Akuma, Yang, Akuma, Chun-Li, and then because of all the extra crit, Chun-Li is just meter all day. We're giving Akuma extra crit, and he just does a lot more damage there, right? It's just been the one that's been most consistent for me, and then Tix has really crazy variables of Akuma as well. He's pretty flexible, I think.
All right, Pika. What team you throwing out?
Exactly. This is the same team.
Same team suggestion. Okay.
Yeah.
So overall, Akuma, Chun-Li, Yang, tank. Is that what I'm understanding? Would you do something?
Yeah, or whatever you can do for C2, because I don't know, I forget what variation Tix runs, but I know he does Rose on Akuma sometimes, or maybe that's Flake.
You can play
Rose.
Goken here if
Maybe
you
it's
want to.
What do you do?
Yeah,
to-
Goken would work
Able.
there.
Goken works in every team. God
Man,
damn it.
Goken is a cheat code. I've been saying it. Goken
Well,
legitimately, if you're sitting there and you're looking like, damn, this team doesn't work, yeet Goken in there, now it does. He just allows the team to do
Able works.
whatever.
Able works. It's a mini Goken, Able. Able is a mini Goken.
Yeah, I'm still so grateful that Tix put me on Able that day. I will never forget that day. That shit changed my challenge rotation for life. Tix, you there?
Nice.
We might have lost Tix.
I
So
lost him.
Akuma, Chun-Li, Yang, Tank. That's team 4. Now we need the final and 5th team.
Trendy Kami.
Trendy Kami.
Yeah.
With, I'm assuming...
Because everybody also... She's the first bossing unit in Divination that took over by Storm, and she was the meta for so long. Guy, Quirky, you use C2 of Guy. You get him to plus 20 on his FS, and his C2 will be insane.
Okay, would you use Trendy Sim with T-Kami, or what's the team looking like?
100%.
So T-Kami, T-Sim.
You don't even
Guy,
need to build him that much for Trendy Sim. You need just him to enable the shocks. put the Shocks debuff, and build him slowly, and he will be a consistent team with Trendy Kami.
Who's the fourth? Do you care for what tank, or like at this point, tanks is just whatever you build?
Well, Nero is a great tank with them, actually.
Nero's not accessible at the moment for most people. So who outside of that? Things that people can get.
Well, the tanks that you're gonna use all over the teams that you're talking about is Bison, Gokin,
Abel,
Honda, and Zangief. You can use Abel too. But Honda also is a tank that will soak up damage, heal himself, stay alive.
Okay. And that's it. Is that, am I missing anything? I guess the assist.
The 5th team is coming soon, by the way.
Oh yeah, no, I've already assumed it's going to happen. I was under the assumption that it would have happened, but since it happened,
like AFK Arena, I think it's same timings. By the way, it's completely same
gonna
timing.
be at, like this year, that like December type thing, or next month in January. That's
maybe, yeah, after the new year with 2024.
Because
I hope they do that.
So 5 teams?
I don't think we're gonna get 5 teams. Not till February, I don't think.
You don't think
Given
so?
the space between the space we have between 3 team and 4 team, I don't think we'll get 5 team till probably February.
Yeah, how much did it change from 3 to 4?
It was like a couple boss events, because this is only our second boss event with 4 teams. If you're on a very, very early
I could have sworn it felt so much more, to be honest. To me, it felt like so much more.
SG came.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
and boss rush too. Did they change boss rush or not yet?
Yeah, and boss rush. We've only had 2 genuine events with 4 teams, so we still got time. We still got time left.
Okay. Wow, my time is so much jammed together that I'm just still thinking about. Okay, that makes more sense. That's cool. All right. So that's all 5 teams broken down. So if the new character in divination that they will drop for 50%, no matter when they're gonna drop him, I think most of the player base will build him completely. If he was a carry, he will be the 5th team. I think. If not, if he's a trigger, also he will be great because you can add him to another in your 4 lineups that you already have. But if he will be like El Fuerte, yeah, RIP. Well, we'll find out if and when that happens. We're still keeping an eye.
Don't slander my man Fuerte.
What happened?
No, El Fuerte is good.
Don't slander my man Fuerte.
But you can play without him the entire game. Like, you know that. He's not an accessory for any lineup. Armor break, you can have substitutes. Bleed, you can have substitutes. He doesn't deal that much, I think. He's good with Vega and Flame, Fashion Ken. Other than that, I don't see usage to him. Maybe his assist because he heals if you resist a debuff or something like, or if you take a debuff. That's good, actually, in my opinion. Other than that, his damage is mediocre, and his assist doesn't buff you; it inflicts debuffs, which is kind of mediocre too. I don't know about you.
I always thought he was a joke character, anyways. That was just a general consensus, but
yeah,
people...
I call him Rey Mysterio. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, he's a luchador that fits. So on that note, we have all 5 bossing teams. That are, I'm not going to say easy. It is a long-term project.
Oni. For the people who built Oni, they can use Oni. And for the whales, if you're a whale and you build everybody, they will be like, where's Virgil? You can use Virgil if it's AoE. If it's not AoE, it's single target, he's useless. You can use Oni. Oni also in AoE, he shines better than single target. On single target, he deals great damage, but he doesn't outshine all of these units that we talked about. Even Trendy Kami, she's AoE, still she deals more damage than him right now.
I just wish
So I have
we
a suggestion.
had the ability to test units, more like a test dummy type of thing, because like we have these 5 teams that we set out now, but like how you're throwing out other alternatives. These alternatives can easily replace any of the 5 teams that we put out as
Exactly.
the primary. So like if you have Oni built up, like I built Oni, he's nasty. I use him as my second DPS for story. So
Of
he's
course.
how I got to chapter
He's a
40.
decent carry. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's been
borrowed him.
Dawson and
I
Oni.
borrowed him to get to chapter 40.
Yeah, I'm
He is
building my
that good.
Fire Adon to be my third team guy. But
Fire
yeah, like
Adon, yeah, definitely.
so
Definitely you need him,
there's a
bro.
lot of alternate units that can be used to easily replace a main team. So I hope maybe one day the devs will listen and they'll put a test dummy for us or something along those lines, because that'd be amazing, because we can at that point, um it will help people plan out units that they're gonna get, because I don't expect them to change how easy it is to level something up or how to get materials or whatever. Just leave it the same, but give people the opportunities to kind of test out what it is that they want to build up before taking a full dive in. And I think that's what preventing a lot of people from trying anything outside of the best in slot units. Hopefully, next podcast call, we'll bring up these 5 lineups, and I will have you guys make up teams that cannot use the same 5 lineups that we initially brought up today. See if we can maybe think outside the box for people who want to try to be
There's
different.
another, yeah, there's a lot of lineups. I'm sad because I didn't mention it, but I still use OG Cammy until today. Slap Witch Jury on her, and she's one of my highest damage dealers in the game.
Yeah, like that. That's a perfect example, because you've always been using OG Cammy since day one.
Yeah.
And no one ever besides you ever mentioned the name Cammy outside of Vega Cammy now. So that's another thing, that like units like that where people throw away. I know Yamcha likes to use mid Ryu, which is, that's also, there's a reason behind him using mid Ryu, but everyone has their reasons, and that's what I'm saying. People use units for personal reasons, or people refuse to use units for personal reasons as well. So
Yeah.
we need to
Like
test things and
there's a
see.
lot of alternatives. There is units like Mummy Dawson. He could be used also. He's good. We have a new spoiler now. It's on your podcast, and it's we found a use for Sagat, and he's broken like the devs told us. He's literally broken as the damage that he does.
Which Sagat? Regular
Just
Sagat?
what? No. Pharaoh Sagat. 1 hour ago, I got the news. I got the replay, and I'm gonna make a video soon about it. He does more damage than Fire Adon.
I will love to see the receipts on how he does more damage than Fire
Yeah,
Adon.
yeah. Yeah,
That
me too. This was my reaction until he showed me the video, and he blocked me because I was making fun of him. But I got the video.
well,
It
I
wasn't
look
my
forward to
idea
see
too.
that.
Yeah.
But on that note, we've been rocking for almost 2 hours, so I think we're going to end it on that. Thank you for everyone listening. We appreciate you being here. And, as stated before, expect changes within the community and the server. But the game itself, it's still alive and good. No end of service, no doomsday. And, follow, follow, subscribe, and enjoy. Peace.